Hello, everybody. I'm Samantha Harris. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am a TV host, certified health coach, and the author of the book, Your Healthiest Healthy, passionate about everything that we are going to be talking about today. And I'm really excited that you are all joining us and to be here with Coulter Lewis from Sunday, Hillary Peterson from True Botanicals, and John Mascari of Blueland. What you should know about this group of panelists is that they have all launched successful startups with sustainability at the core of their business. We are here today to learn about their journeys in building authentic brands and innovating products that can green our planet one household at a time. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
So if we could just start, Hillary, we'll start with you. If you could introduce yourself, and this will go for everybody else as well, introduce yourself to our audience and just give us a brief overview of what your company and its products are all about.
Sure. So I'm the founder of True Botanicals, and we make natural biocompatible skincare that works. We've built our brand on the promise that all of our products are made safe certified, which means that they're safe for people and the planet. And our mission is really to help people take the best care of themselves and the people that they love and the planet.
Beautiful. Thank you, Hillary. John, why don't you jump in?
Sure. I'm John, co-founder of Blueland. We launched Blueland actually a year ago on Earth Day, and we founded the company with a mission to eliminate the need for single-use plastic packaging. So to accomplish this, we first launched with a refill system for cleaning sprays and hand soaps. So with us, you only have to buy your cleaning spray or hand soap bottle once. We call it our forever bottle. And then your refills of cleaning solution or hand soap come to you in the form of a dry, dehydrated tablet that we're actually able to ship in compostable paper packaging, so that all you have to do when you go home is fill your forever bottle up with tap water, drop in a tablet, and you have 9 ounces of hand soap or 20 ounces of cleaning spray that can be used just like the traditional stuff that you might buy in a store.
It sounds incredible. What a great way to change the game. All right, and Coulter, over to you.
Sure. So I'm the founder of Sunday, and Sunday is reinventing how people care for their little piece of property, starting with lawn care. So it turns out lawns are actually our 3rd largest crop in the U.S. And so the way we approach it differently is we use soil data and climate data to create a custom solution for your lawn and ship you exactly what you need for a pesticide-free, great-looking lawn.
It's fantastic. And I know obviously with so much out there with some very harmful chemicals that we're using every day that can harm our not only our planet, but our kids and our animals that are rolling in the grass. Thank you for doing that. And why don't we stay with you for a moment, Coulter, because what are some of the ways that your company aims to stop and reverse the negative impacts of industry on the environment?
Lawn care is an interesting category, and that really hasn't changed in the last half century. It's 50 last years. It's been exactly the same way, where we're using about 5 times more pesticides per acre on our backyards than we are on industrial crops. And so this antiquated approach is incredibly wasteful, but also dangerous to your family and your pets and everything else. And studies show that everything you put on your lawn is also in your home and inside your body too. And so it's not just a backyard problem. It's intermingled with your whole life. And so our approach is really focusing on making very, very healthy grass, which is the best approach. Rather than continually medicating with all these pesticides, we focus on just building a great looking lawn.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Hillary, I'm going to ask you the same question. What are some of those ways that your company, True Botanicals, aims to stop and reverse the negative impacts of industry on environment?
There are so many ways, and it starts really with helping the consumer to understand that there's no need to compromise safety for themselves and safety for the planet in order to achieve results. So for us, it really starts with creating a product that exceeds consumer expectations, that performs very well in clinical trials, actually outperforming conventional brands. And then from that place, helping consumers understand that without that need to compromise, there's really no downside to buying products that are so carefully considering the well-being of people and the planet. So I would say when it comes to how we source, it's really important to us that all of our products are sourced organic, We really focus on regenerative growers. We're looking for ways to nourish the earth while we also nourish our consumers. That's really important to us. So it starts really at the source. It goes through to our Made Safe certification and the fact that we certify every single ingredient and sub-ingredient for safety for people and the planet. And then we very carefully consider the impact of our packaging. So we use glass packaging, given our huge concern for the fact that there is so much plastic in our environment that is polluting not only water sources, but our bodies and aquatic life and terrestrial life. So it's really a 360 approach to, first of all, making consumers, helping them to understand there's no need to compromise, and then, delivering on our promise to really take the best care at every step.
Yeah, Hillary, I so appreciate that you hit on that, and Coulter too, and John, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about that, because as a breast cancer survivor, that was sadly the wake-up call that it took for me. And I know through my book, Your Healthiest Healthy, and my webinars and coaching, I'm trying, just from a one-to-one or one-to group, trying to inform and empower consumers, because what you just said, Hillary, is so important. We have to be informed consumers. We have to take control of our health. We can't just throw our hands up and say, well, I'm predisposed because of my genetic history to have diabetes or heart disease or cancer, because my dad had it, my grandparent had it. The genetics plays an important part, but a small part of it. And our environment, right, with epigenetics, what can turn on or off those genes that are lying inside our body. And so whether it's how we're taking care of our lawn and what we're dragging into the house on our feet from that, people make fun of me that I remove our shoes when we come into the house. That's exactly why I don't want to drag it into the house. And for the makeup, I spent my career in TV on camera, sitting in a makeup chair, being shellacked with harmful chemicals, endocrine disruptors, and carcinogens, not realizing the harm little by little, almost that drip effect that it was having potentially on my overall well-being. And so, John, that leads me to you. I want to hear so much about what you guys are doing in the same vein.
Yeah, absolutely. And really appreciate what the other folks on the panel have said. I mean, we similarly, coming into the green space, knew that we wanted to be able to reach as many consumers as possible. In order to do that, we had to really try to flip a lot of the compromise kind of perceptions that folks have about green. So in the cleaning space, we knew for sure that we had to be able to prove that our products were incredibly effective at cleaning and keeping your family safe. We were very focused on price point. So for us, when a lot of people think eco, sometimes they think about a high price point, especially in the cleaning category. So we were very focused on making our product accessible to everyone so that everyone can bring in healthy products into their home. So in our case, refills start at just $2, for example, which is a really well-priced cleaning product. And then, of course, everything on the eco side. So, for us, we think about it really in three big categories. So the first is packaging, and trying to make sure that we have as little or zero waste on the planet as possible. The whole concept behind Blueland was to eliminate the need for single-use plastic packaging. So you won't find single-use plastic packaging across any of our products, and even our refills, that one thing that does keep coming into your home every time you need to replenish the product, is shipped in compostable paper. We also think, so we're very, very cautious of not only making sure that every ingredient we source is healthy for home and for planet. I'm very proud to say that all of our chemistries are actually certified platinum for their material health by Cradle to Cradle, but also that our sourcing is sustainable. So we try to be very focused to make sure that anything that we are sourcing has a very limited to hopefully no impact on the planet. So for instance, making sure that we pursue certifications for example, healthy reforestation in the event that we're buying corrugate or anything like that. And then the third piece is our operations. So top to bottom, we are very focused on trying to minimize the impact of all of our operations, including our emissions. So luckily, the format of our product already lends itself to being very, 200, 300 times less heavy than their traditional liquid equivalents, which has tremendous impact on being able to reduce the carbon emissions of shipping our products around, which is so important in an increasingly e-commerce world. But on top of that, we audit every element of our supply chain so that we can make sure that whatever we do on the operations side, if we can't get around greenhouse gas emissions, then we are offsetting that by supporting biodiversity and wilderness protection and offset purchases.
John, it's great that your company really is looking, as it seems both Hillary and Coulter too, with your companies from top to bottom, right? All the different elements. What I talk about a lot with Your Healthiest Healthy is it's about what's in, on, and around your body, right? So the cleaning supplies, like John is saying, right? How we're cleaning our home. I remember when my kids were little, it was like, I wanted a chemical bomb to make sure the floor was a spick and span, not realizing the potential damage or harm that I maybe was doing. And as a parent, we're trying to protect our kids. So I was glad to have my eyes opened. And so it shifts me to my next question, which is about, as a consumer, what would you say are one or two key actions that consumers can take to ensure that they are really buying green and safe products that are free from harmful ingredients? Because there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of greenwashing, quote unquote. How do we do that? Coulter, we'll start with you.
The truth is, it's hard to navigate sometimes. I think that's a challenge that we all see. I think my biggest suggestion would be to know the company, know who's behind it. If you can, understand that story and dig in a little bit and earn some trust with the people who are actually making the products, that's the best way. And then the next step is using some of these certifications that have been mentioned on the call to understand that the ingredients do check the boxes and are certified as cleaner.
Right. And of course, just like the Made Safe label and the Green Good Housekeeping label, it's so important. Hillary, what would you suggest for those one or two key actions that consumers can take?
Well, I think, it's so interesting what Coulter said really resonates. Alice Waters, I quote her often. She says, if you want to know what's in your food, get to know your farmer. And I do think there's an aspect of looking deeper, which I'm very excited to see that today's consumer is doing more than ever, particularly given everything that we're experiencing with wellness and COVID-19 and concerns around global warming. So I do think it's looking very closely at who's making the product and understanding what's in these ingredients. So you're looking at a natural product and then understanding, well, it's natural, but are the ingredients primarily or exclusively organic? That makes a huge difference because that comes back to the farming comment that I made earlier. Those chemicals are ending up in your lawn. They're also ending up in your skincare products, and you're putting them on your skin and they're absorbing. So I think looking closely at ingredients is really important. And then I can't speak to product safety without mentioning Made Safe. We did extensive research around a certification that would really mirror our values. And I can't say enough about how deeply Made Safe has looked into the safety of our products at every single ingredient and sub-ingredient. And they don't have a list that they just stick with. It's constantly evolving, which means we need to constantly evolve. And that's exactly what we're all going to need to do in order to create the kind of change that is necessary. So we're extremely proud that all of our products are Made Safe certified.
Thank you, Hillary. John, one or two key takeaways, key actions?
Yeah, I agree with the panel here. Definitely looking at certifications. For Blueland, it's been a great resource for us to really work with our certification partners to look under the hood on every element of our supply chain. And therefore, I look for that when I'm buying products of my own. The only other thing that I would add too is, as you're buying products, just if you can play it forward a little bit and picture how you ultimately are going to dispose of those products and considering what you are going to buy. So if it's something, if you're making a purchase, is it something that you're going to be able to hold on to for a really long time and not have to think about sending it to landfill? And then otherwise, are you purchasing something that is going to be recycled, widely recyclable at your curbside, or the next, the other best alternative would be something that's compostable. So just not only being thoughtful about that first purchase, but also how that purchase gets disposed of at the end of life.
Right. And that is something that I think if anyone is like our household I feel like the Amazon boxes are coming, every other day, and I feel terrible. So I love that they're now at least offering, you can, have Amazon day delivery, so multiple deliveries at once. So you can we have to take action on all those steps. And it looks like obviously all of your companies are doing that so beautifully. I want to shift to the pandemic because of course COVID has put us all, it at home, a lot more focus on what's happening. I think, I don't know about you guys, I know my garbage and recycle bins are filling up a lot faster than they used to because we're home so much. So how did the pandemic affect your brand and operations? And then also, have you seen any shift in sort of the consumer behavior since COVID-19 hit? We can go ahead, Hillary, and start with you.
Yes. So, we were really growing at a time where, like you and like me, both as cancer survivors, consumers were becoming increasingly aware of product safety and safety for the planet. And what we are seeing is that COVID has really accelerated and expanded that interest, that more and more people are stepping back and saying, wait a minute, am I really doing the best for my wellness and for the safety of the planet? So for us, it's really accelerated our growth, which is very exciting. And it's really accelerated the kinds of questions that we're hearing from consumers, which we think is equally exciting. That wellness is increasingly important and that people are willing to dig a little deeper to make sure that they're getting what they think they're getting.
Hillary, just an addendum to that, have there been any comments from your consumers and fans of the brand that have come in that have made you sort of sit back and go, okay, wow, that's something I need to think about, or wow, thank you, I'm so glad we're doing this and this is helping through the pandemic?
I think what we're hearing that just feels incredible to me is that they're so grateful that they can truly take care of themselves, to have their best skin, to resolve issues that have been bothering them, but really know that they're doing it in a way that is supporting wellness. There's just a lot of gratitude. I think we're finding that there's a lot more time for self-care right now because people are slowing down their lifestyle. So there's a bigger focus on it. And as people are looking more closely, there's a lot of gratitude for being able to do it in a way that is truly good for them and truly good for the planet. So I would say the depth of the relationship is moving to a different place. I feel that we were always appreciated as a brand, but that's really been heightened.
Thank you. And John, how did the pandemic affect Blueland and the operations for the brand?
Yeah, household cleaning as a category is something that when we launched Blueland, which was really just a short time ago, it was still something that was heavily shopped in brick and mortar stores. And the pandemic has definitely shifted, I think, a lot of shopping in that category, traditionally something that's been a stalwart in brick and mortar online. So we've seen a huge surge in demand, the combination of people shopping online while also continuing to be very discerning about the products that they're bringing into their home, like Hillary pointed out. So we've seen 300% increase in demand since everything started. And a lot of that is coming online. And, we've been really grateful that at this time we can scale a solution like ours. If we all think about, all of the hand soap that people are buying right now, the fact that Blueland can offer something like that ships with that low carbon footprint and also doesn't require throwing out plastic bottles every time you get through a use of hand soap, is something that's been really exciting to us. And the other piece with this increased surge in demand, increase in shopping online versus necessarily having to go to stores for these traditional products is we've seen our reach really expand, beyond just our early adopters who might have already been a little bit more environmentally conscious into a much broader group of consumers who are sometimes, growing into their environmentally conscious consumer behaviors really as a part of the global context right now. So it's been really great for us to meet all of these new consumers and be able to start educating them on how to make choices that are, healthier for their homes and for the planet.
And that education is so essential. It is really an integral part to taking control of really overall wellness, but longevity as well, and then saving our planet for future generations, which, as we've seen between the fires and the hurricanes and all of the other natural disasters going on top of this pandemic, I think now more than ever, it's a call to action for people to say, hey, wait a second. It's like a rapid, almost like the spiral of the toilet drain, right? It's picking up speed and sucking us in as our environment is really starting to crumble around us, and we have to take action, and that's what your brands are doing, and that's what the of course Made Safe is helping do, and the Green Good Housekeeping Seal does. So now I'm going to throw it over to you, Coulter. What's for Sunday? What sort of shift have you seen in consumers' behavior in the wake of COVID-19, and then how has that affected your brand and operations?
I think you hit on it too, with that concern around what's happening with our environment and the world around us. It makes sense to make your home into your sanctuary and a place that you really feel safe and want to be in. And your backyard's a big part of that, especially when you're kind of cooped up. So we saw a huge increase in interest and a lot of growth as a business. A big part of what Sunday offers is the support to the whole experience. So caring for your yard is something that's kind of intimidating for people, and we make it really, really easy and straightforward. And we have, I think, almost half our company is customer service and lawn specialists. And so the traffic there this year has been just incredibly high. People asking and getting more engaged in their backyard, getting their hands dirty, wanting to take on more projects, and we're helping them through that. And it's incredibly rewarding to see people kind of dig deeper and get more involved in the nature that surrounds their house.
I actually have a follow-up question to that, Coulter, because for those people who aren't maybe tending to their lawn themselves, but they have a lawn service, how can they make sure that their lawn service is using the proper, different products?
Sure. I mean, I think that you can ask your lawn service to not use synthetic pesticides and make that a requirement. And they're not going to like that request, but that's something you're a customer and you can demand. And you'll know if they do. If you ever notice the little yellow flags that you see in neighborhoods, especially in the spring and the fall time, those are actually EPA mandated because that ground is unsafe for humans and animals because of the compounds that are put on there. So if you see little yellow flags, you know something was done that shouldn't have been done.
So the yellow flags should be a red flag for all of us.
Exactly.
All right, I'm with you there. As we're coming towards the end of our time here, I'm just going to ask one final question for all of you, which is what sort of advice do you have for entrepreneurs in general, and specifically those who want to enter the green marketplace? How should they approach it, and what should their message be overall for the consumers? John, we'll start with you.
Yeah, for those entrepreneurs that are, like you said, thinking about starting something with a sustainability focus, I really feel like in those instances, the planet has to be your passion. I think that it's been a great ride to try to rethink about a very traditional supply chain with the planet first. But without putting the planet and the health of its people first. There are too many impasses that you face where folks tell you about the easier way to get over a problem, but being very focused and dedicated to a healthy planet, healthy people, that's got to be the passion and what drives decision making. Yeah.
Thank you. And Hillary, how about for you?
I think at the core of my advice would be the word authenticity. I feel that more than ever, the consumer is looking for authenticity. And so, to deliver a product that truly meets their needs and delivers the results that they're looking for, to share authentic, passionate testimonials, clinical trial results, really delivering what you've promised has helped to fuel our growth in a way that we could have never imagined. And I think at the core of that is the authenticity, the authentic passion for the products and the efficacy, and also our authentic care for people on the planet, our uncompromising approach to that. And, that's where the Made Safe certification comes in. That's where our dedication to sourcing ingredients that also are contributing to the health of our farmers and their families and their communities. I think that kind of authenticity is increasingly important to today's consumer. And I find that so incredibly encouraging relative to all of the problems that we're facing right now as a planet and as a community. So, I think that authenticity will really take green entrepreneurs far.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Authenticity is a really essential part of it. And Coulter, what do you have to add to that?
So well said, and 100% true. I think if you're looking to start a green business because it seems like the best kind of business to start, it's probably not going to work. You need to really believe in it yourself. And I think what I would add to that is lay it out very deliberately and clearly what you're trying to accomplish, what your limits are, where your guardrails are early on. Because as people get involved in the business and it gets bigger, you start getting pulled in different directions, and you have to say, no, this is it. This is our true north. Like we set up day one, that's 1% for the plant company. We donate to tall grass prairie across the US to preserve it. And that would have been almost impossible to institute now, but day one we could do it. So I think just set that course in the right direction day one.
Thank you. Thank you. Gosh, this has really been an incredibly informative panel. I appreciate all of you being here. I think the takeaway, what I'm hearing, and for everyone watching, is authenticity as a brand, as a consumer looking for a brand's authenticity, integrity, and honesty. And then as a consumer, really empowering yourself to understand what a brand is about. Look, because of wonderful places like Made Safe, we have the ability as a consumer and as other brands to get an idea of what the brands who are succeeding in this space are doing. We can look at Made Safe, we can look at the Green Good Housekeeping seal and say, okay, here are some ideas of where we go, because it is really overwhelming as a consumer or as a brand who's trying to emerge in this market to know where to go. And because there's such a wealth of information, even the good information can be overwhelming. So to have sort of that nice funnel to say, hey, here's sort of a shortcut for us. I know we are all juggling our careers, our families, work-life balance, self-care. It's all important. So finding the wonderful shortcuts that we can take to have that information given to us. But for those of us who can take a little bit more time to really look into the brands more specifically, look to see what, like you said, Coulter, what is their story? Where are they coming from? John, how you said, from top to bottom, let's really look overall from how we run our company as a brand to what we're doing to really empower consumers to have a safer, greener way to approach everything. And for you, Hillary, from what you said about true botanicals, making sure that what we're putting on our body, what's sinking into our skin and absorbing, really is as green as possible and safe for our overall well-being and wellness. So thank you all so much for being our panelists today. Thank you, everybody who is watching, and I hope you're enjoying and taking away so much from this panel today. Have a beautiful, healthy, and safe rest of your day.